You want to ace that job interview. You really want that dream job. But what if you come across these common and yet tough questions? Hi, my name is Sarah. Welcome back to the Why Not Academy. A job interview, it's a breeze if you've been in the job market, meaning you've had jobs in your field. The employer asks you questions about your past experiences. You answer them, and then you wait and see if you're hired. Usually, as long as you're honest and humble and not blowing smoke, you get the job. But what if you are a fresh graduate with no previous job experience? Your entire previous job section on your CV, it's a big blank page. Then what? How can you answer the "tell me about yourself" questions when all you have is your hobbies and interests? Can they even offer you a job? And what about the dreaded "do you have any experiences in this field"? How do you showcase your abilities when you haven't even had a job because you're a fresh graduate? Do volunteering roles count? Or the infamous, "tell me why you left your previous position"? Can I skip that one? I remember having conversations with my students about all kinds of interviews. Even when I taught them how to write their CVs, the questions that I got asked every single time is, "Miss Sarah, what do I put in the job history section when I don't have any?" I remember answering them, "Do you think all CEOs were born with decades of experiences?" We all start from scratch, meaning we've all been fresh graduates. Today, I've decided to create this video to help not only fresh graduates, but also those with previous job experiences learn how to handle some of the toughest job interview questions out there. Here's a list of daunting questions you might get asked. We'll examine them one by one, or you can pick the question that interests you the most, the one that's most relevant to you from the timeline. Let's get started, shall we? So, tell me about yourself. Most interviews kick off with this question. It's quite predictable, but how can we provide a satisfying answer and ace this question? I have to say this question is essential because your response forms the first impression with your potential employer. As some say, first impressions are difficult to change, so it's a yay or nay situation. I assume most candidates prepare for this question since it's so predictable. The real question is, how can you respond in a way that distinguishes you from other candidates? In other words, how can you present yourself in a way that makes you stand out? Today, I'm happy to share with you my approach, which is the 3 H's. Instead of me explaining to you what they are, let me show you through these responses. So, tell me about yourself. I developed my interest in teaching during my second year at university in the UK. There, I met my host family, and during my stay, I taught them Chinese while learning English from them. I discovered a deep desire to share my culture and language, and found learning languages to be fascinating. I take pride in my cultural background, and I believe it serves as an excellent foundation for a language teacher. If I were a teacher in your school, I would teach the language beyond its alphabet, but as a dynamic discipline. My first job in this field was a tutor at a local educational center. My primary responsibility was teaching English to students in year 7 through year 9. After a year, I was assigned to teach senior students, preparing them for university exams. You can continue talking about your jobs chronologically until you reach your recent ones. Or if you had many jobs, mindfully select those most relevant to your current application. So my first H is honesty. Be honest about your past, whether you have experience or not. Never make up stories about things you haven't done before. There's a Chinese saying that goes, "You cannot wrap fire with paper," which means you cannot deny the truth, especially in the job market. Regardless of the industry you're in, being truthful and genuine is the way to go. In addition to mentioning your previous jobs, you could also include major achievements. It could go like this. While pursuing my diploma in education, I received the Most Creative Lesson Planning Teacher Award in a district-wide competition. I was competing with over 200 entries, and I made it to the final round, receiving the award in a live lesson demonstration. This experience allowed me to share my passion for creating engaging and interactive lessons for students, strengthening my resolve to pursue a teaching career after graduation. Now, if you have significant experience in the job market, you'll likely have a list of achievements. Choose the one most relevant to your position you're applying for and skip the smaller wins along the way to avoid overwhelming your interviewers. Start by saying something like, "One of my major accomplishments was implementing a new project management system in my previous role. This system streamlined our workflow and led to a 30% increase in project completion rate within the first quarter. It was a significant achievement that enhanced our team's efficiency and overall performance." The most significant achievement last year was leading a cross-functional team in launching a product that exceeded our sales targets by 20%. It was a complex project, but our collaborative efforts, innovative approach, and strategic thinking were the driving forces behind our success. This experience taught me the importance of teamwork and the impact of effective leadership. My second H is humility. When listing your achievements, your primary aim is not to gloat. You don't want to come across as showing off. Instead, you want to instill confidence in your potential employers about your abilities and potential. You are painting a mental picture of what you could do for their company should you be hired. Remember, humility is most powerful when combined with honesty. Avoid fabricating stories out of thin air. Your actions speak louder than words. And when you share your achievements, you're demonstrating the actions you took in your previous jobs. Now, are you ready for the last H? Take a look and tell me which response you prefer. So, tell me about yourself. Version 1. I've had 6 years of experience in the business world, with my most recent position being at XYZ Corporation. There, I managed a team and oversaw daily operations. I consider myself a dedicated worker and a strong team player, and I'm looking forward to bringing my expertise to this role. Version 2. I've spent 6 years navigating the corporate world, with my latest position being at XYZ Corporation. My colleagues used to joke that I was the office morale booster, keeping spirits high, and of course, the coffee machine from staging a revolt. I'm a big believer in the power of teamwork, and I can't wait to bring my unique blend of enthusiasm and coffee-saving strategies to this position. I'm sure you prefer version 2, don't you? The responses I've just showed you are designed to illustrate the power of injecting humor into your answers. And that's my last H on the list. Of course, the extent of humor or where you decide to add it, it's entirely up to you. The key point is, humor can be a powerful tool. It's true that many individuals believe humor has no place in job interviews, as these are often considered serious and formal occasions. However, I beg to differ. Humor has a remarkable ability to make people laugh, bringing a breath of fresh human air into the interaction. It connects you with others on a different level compared to those who merely deliver information in a matter-of-fact manner. Integrating humor into your responses is simply my personal preference. Take it with a pinch of salt. What's more important is that you should be comfortable doing it. Personally, I find the first version rather standardized, what I'll describe as a default reply. It comes across as dry and somewhat mechanical, similar to what many other candidates might say, or even something generated from AI, who knows? You want to distance yourself from such responses as much as possible. The key takeaway here is to be yourself, your authentic self, and allow your unique character to shine through your words. So now that you know my 3 H's, let's put them into action and tackle the remaining questions together. I've designed the responses to be applicable to any jobs you may apply for, so they are general ones that you can use and adjust to your needs. The second most common question is typically some variation of, why did you leave your previous position? While you might want to skip it, interviewers often ask this question for valid reasons. First, it provides a window into your career path, your honesty, and your compatibility with their company culture. So when answering, consider it a chance to showcase your professionalism, personal growth, and alignment with the new role. You might reply with, in my previous role, it was like finishing a great book. You enjoyed it thoroughly, but the last page had to come at some point. So I decided it was time to turn the page. I believe in constant growth, both personally and professionally. It felt like the natural progression to seek new challenges and broaden my horizons. I truly value the experiences and knowledge I gained during my time there, and I'm excited to carry those lessons with me to make a positive impact in this new role. What if you got asked this question? How can you manage the team when you are so young? Age can be a factor, but I believe in proving leadership through actions and not just years. While I may be considered relatively young, I've demonstrated my leadership skills in my previous role. I believe that staying humble is a must for any professional, regardless of their age or experience. I'm also enthusiastic about learning from my experienced colleagues while bringing fresh perspectives to the team. After all, they say age is just a number, right? Usually, towards the end of the interview, it's likely you'll be asked, do you have any questions? Or, is there anything else you want to ask at this moment? Most candidates just say, no, I'm good.
Do you have any last questions?
No. But here's the thing. This is your chance to shine, to stand out, and leave a lasting mark on the interviewers. So what do? Well, it's simple, but very important. You invest some time and research to understand the company before your interview. This way, you can come up with thoughtful questions that not only show your interest, but also impress the interviewers. It's all about making the most of this opportunity to set yourself apart. You could say, I do have a couple of questions. Firstly, I'm interested in understanding the company's approach to employee development and career growth support. Additionally, I'm curious about the team's collaboration methods and your expectations for me should I get this role. I'm eager to learn, contribute, and explore ways to enhance our working environment. You know, I had a similar experience in one of my previous interviews. I was up for a position where I had to manage a team of teachers, most of whom were way more senior than me. It was a bit of a tricky situation, but I had a great way to explain it. I used the story of Journey to the West. I compare myself to the monk in the story. For those of you who don't know this story, this monk didn't have any cool superpowers like his 3 disciples did. But what he did have was vision and direction. He knew where they needed to go. Those magical powers were very impressive, but they were a bit all over the place until the monk stepped in with his leadership. So my take on it is that age doesn't necessarily determine your leadership abilities. It's more about having a clear vision, good communication skills, the ability to work well with others, and the willingness to actively listen to others. That's the real magic for successful teamwork. So it's not just for stories. It certainly works in real life too. So on this note, I want to encourage young candidates out there. Don't let your age hold you back from pursuing a role that's traditionally seen as a domain for older professionals. Remember, age is just a number. Be humble in acknowledging that you have much to learn and value the experience of those who've come before you. However, don't underestimate your own abilities. Confidence in your skills and the unique perspective of youth can be a game changer. Embrace the challenge, learn from your colleagues, and show them that your passion and fresh insights can breathe new life into the role. So believe in your potential and let your actions speak louder than your age. If you found today's video helpful, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Share with me your interview stories or any challenges you faced in the process. I'd love to hear from you. Join me again next week for another lesson. Until then, take care and bye for now.